In Climate Watch, a new report from the World Meteorological Organization says that by the year 2050, about 5 billion people will have inadequate access to water, at least 1 month per year. And human-caused climate change is to blame. For reference, just 0.5% of water on Earth is usable and available. For more, let's bring in CBS News meteorologist and climate specialist Jeff Berardelli. So, Jeff, this is a really sobering report. Unpack this data for us a little bit. Why is this such a crisis?
Well, the problem is that we have a lot more people on Earth, almost 8 billion people on this Earth. And at the same standpoint, climate change is making water, essentially more insecure, less reliable around the world. Since 2000, 75% of weather disasters have been water related, either droughts or floods. And this may come as a surprise, but we take water for granted in many parts of the United States and in the developed world. But even in many parts of the U.S., there are a lot of water insecure places. The obvious place is Flint, Michigan. There are a lot of, places that are underserved communities around the United States that are water insecure. Many Native American tribes in the West that are water insecure. And around the world, 450 million children don't have enough water each and every day to meet their needs. So we have a very large water problem around the world. You mentioned it, as many as 5 billion people by the middle of this century are going to probably face water issues. That's literally half of the global population. And climate change is making that worse. It's making water less predictable. It's causing more floods. It's causing more droughts. With the mixture of nutrient pollution in the oceans and warmer air and warmer water, it's causing more algae outbreaks, more toxins in the water. And so this is something that we absolutely have to deal with as we move forward, and climate change makes the situation worse.
Well, Jeff, another section of the report talks about climate-related disasters like flooding. What were those findings?
So this is probably fairly, hard to believe, but 75% or so of the, disasters that we've seen, we talked about, have been flood related. We've seen a large increase in the amount of water related issues around the world. Specifically, this is something that you might not have heard of yet, but Italy yesterday had 29 inches of rain in a matter of 12 hours, right near Genoa,
Wow.
Italy, which is in the northern part of Italy. That's about 2.5 feet of rain in 12 hours. So
Wow.
to put that into perspective, that's up to your kitchen table. That's how much rain fell in that short period of time. A new European record. Never seen that much rain in 12 hours. Of course, you remember the European floods this summer. That was a once in 500-year event, made about up to 9 times more likely by climate change. The New York City floods, they did an analysis on that. It was a once in 1,000-year event. That much rain falling in just 2 or 3 hours' time should only be expected once every 1,000 years. That means if you lived in New York City for 1,000 years, it should only happen one time, statistically speaking. So floods are becoming a problem across the world. We're seeing a large increase. They're about 2.5 times more likely than they were just 20 years ago. So in the year 2000. And that's because the atmosphere holds more moisture. It can dump heavier rain in shorter periods of time, and we're not prepared to handle that much water.
At the same time, Jeff, extreme drought events are also on the rise. What can you tell us about that?
They've increased as well, about 1.7 times more likely today than back in pre-industrial times, so 1850 to 1900. We're seeing drought conditions, really get worse all over the world, but especially in the southwest part of the United States and the western part of the United States, we've had the worst drought we've seen in 1,200 years. And actually, these mega droughts, that's what we have right now, a mega drought in the West, they're going to be 60% more likely as we head towards the middle and end of the century because of climate change. So what is happening here? Well, in the West right now, Lake Powell, Lake Mead, they are at 30% of capacity. For the first time, the federal government has said Colorado River Basin, they declared a Tier 1 water shortage. That means communities are going to be getting less water. 30 Native American tribes rely on the Colorado River water. Farmers rely on it. 40 million people rely on that water. And that drought's getting worse and worse. And the reason is not just because we're seeing less rain. That's not necessarily the case. It's actually because it's warmer. That's causing more evaporation. That's evaporating all the groundwater, or a lot of it. and transporting it to places that already have the rain. So essentially it's robbing from the poor, climate change is doing, and giving more rain to the rich. They don't need any more rain. So, and water and rainfall is becoming less reliable. So we're getting heavier rain in shorter spurts of time, not kind of, consistent throughout the year. And less of it's falling as snow, more of it's falling as rain. And that means the reservoirs that rely on snowmelt, they're not having as much water. And so it's less reliable. And of course, there are more people moving to the western United States. The West is just one example. We're expecting that towards the middle and end of this century, we're going to see drought conditions get worse in the deep Southwest, like we talked about, across the Amazon, so a lot of South America, especially the northern half, and especially around the Mediterranean region and the Middle East as well. That's just a few places where we're going to see worsening drought. So this is something the UN, in this particular report, just trying to sound the alarm and get governments to start responding and planning adequately and investing adequately. And if we do that, these are dangers that we can avert or at least mitigate. So we can certainly make the situation better if we just seem to plan better and we invest better. That's what the UN is trying to urge communities to do.
We'll see if governments take up that call. Jeff Berardelli, Jeff, thank you very much.
You're welcome.